Hi ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Nightingale, a game that we first seen around the Game Awards, and it looked super interesting to me for mainly one reason, and I hope I'm not going to be disappointed, but Nightingale looked like a game that focused heavily on the PvE side of things and not the PvP side of things. For those of you guys who know nothing about Nightingale, it is a new shared world surviving, crafting, and building game, aka things akin to Ark Survival Evolved, maybe Rust, and things like it. But if you're anything like me, you stay a little bit farther away from those games because, well, it's awesome that you can build and you can survive and you can thrive, but what's not so fun is that your fun is kind of dictated by other players. Now, other people love this, but if you're like me, it's awful. It's an awful pretext. But Nightingale hasn't seemed to put a lot of emphasis on that aspect of things. It seems like, and I could be misdirected by this, but it seems like it's a game that's way more about PvE, essentially you against the environment alongside your friends, which to me seems way more fun, especially with there being so many PvP games and very little PvE games when it comes to survival sims. Now, with that being said, it seems like Nightingale isn't a cakewalk either. You have monsters, you have seemingly buildable bases, you also maybe can make alliances and tame things, which if that is the case, that's a weird inference from the trailer, that is going to make this game pretty huge. But here's the thing also that makes Nightingale a step above or different than the rest. It has to do with these realms and these portals that take you to different realms. And to me, that's super interesting, especially for a game that, yes, is going to be pushing into early access in 2022. Sorry, 2022, it's going to be starting its playtest early access kind of thing. So for me, that's really interesting. This idea of a constantly updating and evolving world catered by realms. So you maybe have your starter realm that's pretty chill, pretty happy, pretty easy to play in, and then you have your harder realms with crazier monsters, bigger beasts, and harder and more information that needs to be leveraged. And maybe, just maybe, you can take some of the supplies that you have into said other realms. Now this could be great in the sense of just constantly updated game information, all those things, but it also could be bad if you lose 90% of your stuff. Say there is a taming or a monster's taming situation going on, and you lose your beloved monster. I hope that doesn't happen, but we'll see. Alas, ladies and gentlemen, sorry to just go rambling about this game. Yes, it is a survival builder game, which is going into early access this or next year, depending on when I upload this. Also, it is a Victoria gas lamp fantasy universe. Think steampunk meets early Victoria thing, which is already kind of steampunk, but it's just not like super weird glowy tech. At least it doesn't seem that way. It is also a first-person game where it says you'll be building estates and homesteads, banding together with other survivors and fighting nightmarish creatures as you search for your way home. So again, it's more of an emphasis on banding together with your survivors and not just getting wrecked, and not just like building a house and loving it and then just getting smashed by a random dickhead who happens to know how to break your base. It does seem like, though, it might very be heading towards a 7 Days to Die kind of game where you need to survive waves of an onslaught of zombies or enemies, etc. Not zombies. In this game, it's going to be brutes, monsters, ogres, things of that nature, it seems like. And again, various different realms could be that way. But alas, ladies and gentlemen, enough rambling about the game. I want to break down the trailer itself, so let's get into it. Nightingale looking absolutely beautiful, by the way. That's the one thing that is ever present. It does say pre-alpha game engine footage. I think that means this could kind of be what we're expecting to see. Regardless, anyways. Okay, so we get this creepy-ass vampire bat-looking thing with a face that's not a face, but a giant mouth. Big yuck. Hate it. It looks like a raptor and a bat. And also there's like hair on there. Christ alive. But can we tame these things? Maybe not. Probably not. They look pretty unscrupulously evil, frankly. But then there's these big world bosses, which they keep teasing throughout the trailer. And of course, Victoria kind of era clothing, a kind of steampunk-esque stuff. At least that's what we're akin to it now. I don't know if there's like magic in this game. It doesn't seem to be at all. It seems to be very grounded, but who knows where this live service game could go, or this early access game could go. But this does look like where we'll start the game, essentially having this cool explorer kind of outfit with trendy creepy old hairstyle, all these things, Amelia Earhart vibe, all that. But again, man, the worlds that we're in this game look amazing. If they're even half as cool as this lush forest, and yeah. But it's also weird because as much as there may not be magic, there's definitely like teleportation points and portals and this weird goat man. So there probably could be, but this is it, baby. This is where I was like, here we go. This is what I'm talking about, ladies and gentlemen. We had the Game Awards, sorry, little rant. We had the Game Awards and we saw fucking no gameplay ever. It was always just CGI. This game, we're actually seeing some first-person gameplay, and it's looking pretty immersive, pretty clean. We got some beasts that are not hostile to us, it seems like. And again, this is a survival game, so we're going to need to be shooting those enemies, or shooting and eating animals, etc., building houses, breaking down trees, things like that. We have a weird goat, man. Don't know what that's about. Seems a lot. I think it's just going to be our time wizard mage person guiding us through these portals and probably a story thread. We also got this creepy ass Wendigo looking thing, except it looks like we're just kind of chilling, so I don't know if he's an enemy. I imagine he's just kind of a being of the forest that you could kill and make endgame resources for, but he's amazingly hard to kill. Who knows? Okay, so this is where we get our first little taste of maybe, just maybe, there are tameable creatures in this game, which there's no information about that, by the way. It would be awesome if there was any way to kind of leverage your environment against itself, and we'll see that later on. We're potentially befriending giants, and if we look at this camp, there is this giant boar-looking beast off to the left. Could just be eating, and he's just setting up camp right beside a spiked bull, essentially, or pig. Which I don't think is the case, but maybe not. Maybe it doesn't look like you can ride it, but maybe you can tame it. If they did that, that would put this game into a league of its own, where it kind of doesn't come for Ark Survival Evolved's dinos, but instead comes from cool mythological monsters and such to befriend and fight against. Anywho, you set up a camp and just be chill. That is, I think, just the beginner camp-like stuff. You will eventually make like homesteads and these larger-than-life structures, which is pretty cool. Again, we're always going to be going through these portals to get to different realms, which I don't know if is a way of them. I feel like that's probably what it is. It seems like it's a way for you to have your world and for me to have my world. But also to probably, if we, do some sort of trial or something, we can maybe get a stone that unlocks a higher tier of world with harder enemies, different environments, different biomes, etc. But it does look like we can just go into our friend's realm and help build and etc. So you can have your realm, I can have my realm, and we can kind of jump back and forth if we desire, which seems like the way it kind of is panning out. But I am also, by the way, inferring a lot because this game has nothing out about it, but I'm really excited. So I wanted to talk about it, but forgive me if I'm way off. I will clarify and update you guys on this game in the future, just to level expectations appropriately. But right now, baby, let me hear about it. Let me hear what you guys think and etc. But right here, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know. So there's this creepy ass spire that's creeping up on them, but I don't know. I don't know if this is like, again, I'm really curious to see if these are like your summons, or not summons, sorry, but there's also that pig thing again. So I don't know if these are like your pets, like if you can befriend these monsters, or if it's strictly you against this world. If they do that, I feel like it'll be a little bit lonely. I always like the idea of being able to have multiple ways of executing something. So you could use a shotgun that you've leveled up to high hell, or you could use 1,000 tiny spiders just to maul your enemies. And considering the kind of end game battles defending your base, looks pretty intricate. And like you could use all the help you could get. Also, this looks super clean. It seems like the lighting looks really interesting. But also, it does seem like you can, again, playing co-op, explore these islands. I wonder if they're going to have like dead drop locations where you can explore. So maybe you have your realm that's nice and lush, but then you can go into another realm with your friend that's more of like a you against the environment kind of realm that has loot, blueprints, stuff like that. I think that'd be a wonderful way of gamifying the survival sim, where you always have your home, but then you go into these encounters that you need multiple people to pull off and fight through. Kind of like weird raids in different worlds. Different ways to leverage your advantage. Anyways, it does look like you also have factories and craftable systems and all these things. I don't know to the extent in which this is going to play. I do think you can make guns and all of these things, so I imagine a pretty big extent. It also does look like they have some pretty cool variability on their clothes and whatnot. Good old Victoria era stuff. Also, we have these gorgeous guns, man, and I don't know, the axe looked incredibly aesthetic here. I don't know why. It just looked like, yeah, it's not like crazy texture, but it doesn't need to be. It just kind of seems simple but effective. And these guns, man, these guns look also really good. But I wonder what the, like, again, I wonder what the laws of this world are, because those beasts look like big old boys, and this just looks like a normal firearm. So let's hope they have some sort of magic in the bullet or something, because the beasts are huge, and I feel like that tiny bullet's gonna do nothing. But anyway, but this right here again is the classic survival sim. You can boost up your basically house, so it's on a nice playing field. Also, you can build a house with your friends. It does look like it's less of like the thatch broken ass room. Maybe it will start off that way, but it does seem like in every case, it does look like they have an understanding about making a certain tier, but hopefully you can like reinforce it and make it even stronger, because that's always such a fun thing, and especially with the gameplay we're about to see in a minute, you're probably going to need to do that. Also, you're going to be able to down trees. We don't know if it's just like hit the tree, it'll fall over, or if it's more of the forest game where you're actually chopping into it. We'll see. I don't think it matters, honestly, but this right here, ladies and gentlemen, shows you to the extent in which you're going to be able to customize, and it does seem like you're keeping that Victorious era kind of design, where you're having these upper floors super exposed to the open world with like chairs and lanterns all around. But no, it looks awesome. And again, this whole city kind of starts building out really, really nicely. But this right here, ladies and gentlemen, this is what I'm super, super curious about. Because this would take this game from me being like, okay, the idea that you have your realm, but you can also explore with your friends in a brand new realm that potentially could offer you greater resources, greater blueprints, greater whatever. That's awesome. That seems like something that I think wouldn't get old, and they could keep making amazing realms and keep us satisfied for a long time. But building, hunting, and etc. will eventually get old. Hence why games like Ark came out and essentially added dino taming, and holy shit, did that ever make that game a step above the rest, or at least I think. And you know, Minecraft has this insane buildable mechanics. I would love it if this game had the ability to tame or befriend or partner with various monsters from different realms. Because we're about to see these things will eventually come and destroy our base, which would be really, really annoying, shitty, and kind of make you feel like, well, fuck it, what is the point of this realm kind of defense? Unless you go into a random realm and you have to defend it. In that case, I could kind of understand how that could be. Regardless, having a bunch of giants that you do quests for, or you somehow tame, or you give value to, somehow some way that defend your base permanently would be amazing, and being able to level them up and ascend them higher. And not having it be like this, you have to find this perfect monster at level 60 in order to have them be good, but instead to just be able to invest in them and make them good would be awesome as well. Anyway, sorry, a little bit too much in my head, but yes, that is a big speculation. It could just be a one-off side quest, but who knows? Maybe giants are just kind souls that just don't want you to set up shop and destroy the land, so they'll level the playing field if you get a little too greedy. Speaking of getting a little too greedy with the land, we have this. Okay, so as this to me gets me excited, because it does look like this game is kind of, or at least in my experience, it's borrowing from a lot of other really tried and tested interesting ideas. Like, there is a cost to just pillaging the shit out of the land. So this person is basically chopping down a tree, and the tree gains sentience, and the roots itself pop up essentially and create this monster boss for you to fight. It could just be a random boss encounter as well. I could be drawing too much into it, but I've seen this first in good old Don't Starve, where it was a way for you to kind of say, hey, this land is alive, and be careful how much you take. And again, we also are going to be fighting these weird-ass goblins / I don't know, some good old BDSM weird shit here too. But we got a little bunny just in the whole throw of it. Poor guy, running for his damn life. Regardless, we get some gun gameplay here. Also, this is, again, a brand new realm, a desert area, super cool on the horizon. It seems like there might be some like ways to gain energy that are special to like the ocean, to maybe like high-rise wind turbines, things like that. We'll see. Regardless, you see everyone defending everything. It does look like your base is made of paper mache, because one shotgun shell just obliterated an entire wall kind of situation. So that's less good. but it also does look like you're not just building one thing. So you know how we've seen the Victorian era kind of buildings, we're also seeing this more Persian-like kind of castle and whatnot. Now that could just be a place that they've actually found. But who knows? But it would make sense that this is like an end game building kind of outline, just stone, super strong, that kind of stuff, especially when you're fighting against what seems like a harder realm, more barren and harder enemies. And yeah, again, everything's made of paper mache, feels bad. But it also looks like you can body people pretty fast with your weapons. But this is what worries me. This right here. This freaks me out because look at me, I'm enjoying the game. I'm playing in the PvE kind of realm of everything. I'm just enjoying. I made this big old castle, and the game's like, hey, guess what, idiot? We're like 7 days to die, where building a base is pointless. It's just meant to just kind of get you by another day, because a giant is gonna come through and just fuck your whole life like that. I don't know, man. That seems like a bad time to me. I hate when you're like, again, this is the same reason why I never got really into survival sims like Rust and etc., where you can just be having a good old time wanting to interface with the world and see and explore and find, and then you'll just get donkey punched by some asshole who just wrecks your whole base, steals your shit, and your 4 hours of farming is just wasted. You know, which is that game exists for people who want to leverage and fuck over people for sure, but your boy can't handle it. His heart ain't made for it. And I don't know if this is where the game maybe starts and then we get popped out into a realm, but I do think we're trying to find our way back here. That's the overarching story, is I think we get popped through a realm or a portal, and then we're trying to find our way back to this beautiful Victoria era city. Also, again, it does seem like in every single like thing of the trailer, it does seem like it's us against the world. So it's not like, I hope you're not, your friend's not, or a random asshole who you're in the same realm with isn't just going to be able to blitzkrieg your base. It does seem like you have to co-op with people and go into different rival realms, challenges and stuff like that. But there also is very big kind of world boss looking things. But again, the idea of this game, if they're able to pull it off, and I'm inferring a lot, forgive me for that. I don't want to like have my expectations too high. I'm just curious. But anyways, the art style, the like time period, I'm in love with. I like the idea that there's like these portals that potentially can take you to harder realms, so that it kind of goes into a smarter, in my opinion, direction than Ark Survival Evolved, which is just a shit ton of pointless landmass, which is not used, it's not really valuable, and it's just kind of a mess. Again, we have the addition of being able to build your bases, which is fantastic. We also have the ability to have what seems like pretty intricate co-op. We also have hints of either quests or story quests, or what I'm hoping is the ability to tame certain beasts and monsters, maybe like forest beasts that are actually of kinder nature than just the random monster things. Although it would be cool to be able to tame anything and everything. Anyways, the guns look powerful and weighty. We'll have to see how everything pans out. I'm a little bit worried about the part where your base is just getting eviscerated by enemies. I know there's a lot of survival games that do that. It does make things feel a little pointless and meaningless, like all of the work that you put into it kind of means relatively nothing. But I could see that maybe being leveraged if you and your friend go into a special realm, which is very much you against the realm and not just your nice little cozy base. Then that would be the reason why you would need to do what you need to do and need to set up shop, build bigger walls, and survive, because you know at night shit gets bad, you know, and you're trying to work your way towards the 5th day, which would give you this special quest that would give you a blueprint that would be good. I don't know, but it is curious to see what the hell the realm idea and execution is going to be. I do think it gives them a lot of possibilities, and I would love it if we could again tame beasts, because that just made games like Ark to me so fun and kind of endless, which is quite nice and a good bang for your buck, I think. Especially, it's always a shame when you let such cool like designed characters go to waste, right? Anywho, ladies and gentlemen, very excited for the game. Let me know what you guys feel about it. Community consensus! Love the Victoria era. Glad to see it getting creative appreciation that it deserves. I agree. I think the old steampunk era, I know it's not fair, it's Victoria era, but I just see steampunk. I'm sorry, I'm broken. God damn it. Looks like something awesome. I'm hyped for. Me too. Feels like Valheim meets Stargate in a steampunk world. Day one buy for me. I hope so, man. I want to see what the gameplay loop is. Like, is it very much like the PvP situation that it seems like every one of these games are? Which to me is like, I don't know, man. I just want to have fun. I don't have to get my head kicked in. I'm fine if it's by monsters. Hopefully there's a way to make it so that you can leverage your advantage and really get ahead, like you can kind of do in Wilhelm. Anyways, sorry. Just hope it's more like Ark. You also hope it has character customization, local co-op hosting system. Yeah, man, I would hate to ping to a server where you can't control who's there. It does seem like, though, it seems like the idea leverages itself to be able to be, you have your world, and then you can go to your friend's world, or vice versa, but then you can also go to a world where there's actually like objectives and maybe quests and rival factions and, you know, in place people who are set up in that realm that are bad, kind of like the desert people we've seen. Yeah, exactly. This survival setting, disable PvP player. Exactly. Leave me alone. I just want to explore and enjoy the world. It looks amazing, and all the manner of voice acting is clean and on the point, with the solo solo LAN players, it's hard to find games that care about that type of thing. Yeah, which is funny because, like, dude, Minecraft is the most successful game ever, and it started with not being some sort of PvP nightmare hell. You know, it started with just being like, what if it was just a fun world to explore, and there was something to do? Maybe in this game there's not the ability to build as intricate as you can in Minecraft, but you can hopefully, maybe, tame monsters. That'd be cool. Yeah, so crazy. People are insanely positive about this game. I'm so excited as well. Good to hear that it wasn't just me. I was very worried that I'm like, I didn't really hear people in my chat pop off about this when it came up. But anyways, I hope you guys are just as excited. I do know there's a lot of games in this genre, so we'll have to see if this game does a lot of things different or if it's just kind of bare bones. And I'm just expecting and hoping for way too much, which is absolutely possible, but I'll keep you up to date on what the reality of the game is, and hopefully in the future the devs will actually explain what their vision is for this game to become. But ladies and gentlemen, hopefully you guys do enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you so much for your time. I will be covering this game in the future, so hopefully I can see you there. We also stream a lot on the channel and on Twitch. These are the days. Thank you kindly for your time. If you did engage with the video, much love as always, and goodbye, my friends.